Hello everyone, my name is Lenyan M. De La Peña, the first reporter from Group 5. So today, I'm going to walk you through to the concept of strategy implementation. So this is a crucial phase in strategic management as it's where the plans we've meticulously developed actually come to life. So strategic implementation is the process of activating the strategy. It is the sum total of all the activities and choices required for execution of a strategic plan. So it is the process by which strategies and policies are put into action. So through the development of programs, budgets, and procedures. Strategy implementation may be said to consist of securing resources, organizing the resources, or directing the use of these resources within and outside the organization. So strategy implementation is essentially the sum total of all the activities and choices required for the execution of a strategic plan. Simply put, it's taking your well thought out plan, making it a reality. So it is the process of by which strategies and policies are put into action. So through the development of concrete programs, budgets, and procedures, this is where the abstract concepts become actionable steps. So a key part of implementation involves securing, organizing, and directing the use of necessary resources. So both within and outside the organization to support the chosen strategy. Without the right resources, human, financial, or technological, the strategy will remain just a document. Strategy implementation. So strategy implementation is an internal operations-driven activity involving organizing, budgeting, motivating, culture building, supervising, and leading to make the strategy work as intended. So activating a strategy is a process of putting strategy into action. Strategy implementation involves several issues in activating this strategy. So strategy implementation is fundamentally an internal operations-driven activity. It focuses on what the organization must do internally to make the strategy work. So this activity involves several key functions. First is organizing, structuring the company, defining rules, and establishing reporting relationships to best support the strategy. Second is budgeting, allocating financial resources to those activities and projects that are critical to the strategy's success. Third is motivating culture building, ensuring the organizational culture aligns with the strategy and inspiring employees to perform at their best to achieve strategic objectives. And the last is supervising and leading. So providing oversight and direction and leadership to ensure day-to-day operations are moving toward the strategic goals. So it is about activating a strategy, which is defined as the process of putting a strategy into action. So successful strategy implementation involves carefully considering and resolving the various issues that arise when activating the strategy. So this could be anything from resistance to unforeseen resource constraints. So strategy implementation is the bridge between strategy formulation, the planning, and successful execution, the results. So it demands leadership, resource management, organizational alignment, and a committed culture. So it transforms the what we want to do into how we will do it.
I am the second reporter. I am Kyla Eunice Tingamo, and I am going to tackle about the key implementation factors, a framework for success. So, success strategy implementation requires a multifaceted approach considering various factors that interact to shape the process. So, successful strategy implementation means turning a planned strategy into a real action. It needs clear goals, organized steps, enough resources, supportive leadership, and a good organizational environment. When all this work together, the strategy is more likely to succeed. And we can analyze these factors through a framework that includes first is the strategic content. So strategic content, this refers to the substance of the strategy itself, a well-defined strategy with clear objectives, action plans, and resource allocation is essential for effective implementation. So, strategic content refers to what the strategy contains, its goals, plans, and needed resources. Like, for example, a school creates a strategy to improve student performance by using tutoring sessions and new learning materials. Clarity of objectives. Clarity of objectives are the goals specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Smart. So goals must be smart. So everyone knows what to achieve. Like, for example, the goal of a company is to reduce customer complaints by 30% within 6 months, like that. The second strategy of strategic content is action plans. So these are the step-by-step tasks showing who will do, when, and what resources are needed. Like, for example, creating a weekly cleaning schedule, assign cleaners to areas, and providing needed tools. Third strategy is resource allocation. So resource allocation, this checks if there are enough financial, human, and technological resources to support this strategy. Like, for example, the manager gives 50,000 for supplies and hires 2 more staff for the project. Second, the second on is context. So context is the organizational context plays a crucial role in implementation. This includes factors like organizational culture, structure, leadership, and the external environment. So context, this refers to the environment of the organization, its culture, structure, leadership, and external factors that can affect the strategy. Like, for example, a company with supportive teamwork and open communication can implement new policies faster. So, the first factor of context is organizational culture. So, it checks if the culture supports teamwork, innovation, and taking risks that help the strategy succeed. Like, for example, employees are encouraged to share new ideas and try new methods, like that. Then the second factor is the structure. So structure, this checks if the organizational structure matches the strategy and supports communication and coordination. Like, for example, the leader motivates the team and gives clear instructions and checks progress weekly. Third factor is leadership. So leaders must guide the strategy, gives clear direction, and motivate people. Like, for example, a business creates a new department to focus only on customer service. Then the last one factor of context is the external environment. So external environment, this looks at outside factors like competition, market trends, and regulations that can affect the strategy. Like, for example, a bakery changes its menu because new competitors are offering healthier bread, like that. And that will be my part. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. So I'm the next reporter. I'm the third reporter, and my name is Del Agua Lady Jane. So, number 3, process. The implementation process itself is critical. So this involves communication, coordination, monitoring, and feedback mechanisms. So communication is the strategy communicated effectively to all stakeholders, ensuring understanding and buy-in. So first, communication dapat ma-explain og tarong ang strategy sa tanan stakeholders. Kay if dili klaro, people will get confused or malose ang buy-in. So klaro nga ang communication helps everyone understands if unsay goal and unsay lahang mga role. Next is coordination. Are different departments and teams working together effectively to achieve the strategy's goals. So, meaning teams and departments must work together, not in isolation. So, kini siya kay about ni siya sa teamwork sa different departments. So, dapat magkasinabot sila and dili magsulo. Kay if wala sila coordination, na ay mahitabo nga mga circumstances like magka-overlap ang mga trabaho or ma-delay ang goals. Next is monitoring. Our progress and performance tracked regularly to identify any deviation from the plan. So, monitoring meaning tracking progress regularly to ensure the strategy stays on course. So, monitoring kay this is also important para makita if naabay progress or naabay deviation from the plan para pud ma-adjust before ma-worse ang situation. So, next is the feedback mechanism. So, are the mechanisms in place for collecting and responding to feedback, allowing for course correction? So, meaning systems for gathering options, reports, and issues during implementation. So, lastly, feedback mechanism. So, this means na ay why mga employees and stakeholders to give feedback para makakorrect dayon ang direction if needed and ma-improve ang implementation while nagdagan pa. So, these slides talks about how important ang process sa pag-implement sa mga strategies. Slide number 4, outcome. The ultimate success of implementation is measured by the desired outcomes. So, this may include increased profitability, market share, customer satisfaction, or employee engagement. So, measurable results. Are the outcomes measurable and aligned with the strategy objectives? So, meaning outcomes must be clear, specific, and aligned with the organization's goals. So, success dapat measurable, meaning dili lang vibes or like feelings, but also actual data like profitability, customer satisfaction, or market share dapat aligned sa strategic objectives. Next is impact on stakeholders. Does the implementation positively impact or relevant stakeholders such as employees, customer, investors, etc.? So, meaning dapat the strategy must benefit people involved, employees, customer, investors, community. So, we also check unsay epekto sa stakeholders like employees, customer, investors. So, dapat positive ang impact. Dili ilangan ni-increase ang number pero mag-improve po ang experience sa mga tao. Next is sustainability. Is the implementation sustainable in the long term, ensuring continued success and growth? So meaning the results must be last long term and just not one time success. So sustainability dapat mag long term ang success, daily temporary. Kay if ang true success kay kanang mapadayon ang growth and positivity results over time. So this slide kay nag-focus sila on unsaon pag measure sa success sa strategy implementation. Next slide will be barriers and resistance to strategy implementation. Overcoming obstacles. Implementing strategies often faces resistance from various sources. Understanding these barriers is crucial for developing effective strategies to overcome them. Lack of communication. Poor communication about the strategy, its benefits, and implementation process can lead to confusion, fear, and resistance. So, people are unsure about the strategy, its benefits, or what expected to them. So, kung dili clear ang communication, people feel confused or scared sa mga changes. Mga mo resist sila kay wala sila full understanding ng sa purpose sa strategy. And next is lack of resources. Insufficient resources such as financial, human, or technological can hinder implementation efforts. So meaning the organization does not provide enough money, staff, training, or like technology. Sometimes kulang ang resources like budget, manpower, or technology. So even if nice kaayo ang strategy, dili gid siya fully ma-implement if wala enough nga mga support. Next is lack of leadership support. Without strong leadership support, employees may not be motivated or empowered to implement the strategy. So, meaning leaders must do not actively support, encourage, or so meaning the leaders do not actively support, encourage, or participate in the implementation. So, employees look to their leaders for direction. If leaders are not engaged, employees may not take the strategy seriously or feel empowered to act. So that would be all for my part. Next is Cyril Kulina.
Lack of employee involvement. Failing to involve employees in the implementation process can lead to a lack of ownership and buy-in. This lack of involvement usually leads to poor cooperation and weak results, since employees don't feel responsible for the success of the strategy. Organizational culture. A culture resistant to change or innovation can make it difficult to implement new strategies. Every organization has its own way of doing things. If the culture is very traditional or resistant to new ideas, it becomes difficult to introduce changes. Political considerations. Internal power struggles or political agendas can create obstacles to implementation. Sometimes, different departments or leaders inside the organization have their own interests or agendas. Power struggles and office politics can create conflict and resistance. Fear of change. Employees may fear losing their job status or comfort zones, leading to resistance. Change can be uncomfortable. Employees may worry that new strategies will affect their jobs, workload, or status. This fear often leads to resistance, even if the change could benefit the organization. Managing change in an international context, navigating cultural differences. Implementing strategies in a multinational context presents unique challenges requiring sensitivity to to cultural differences and the ability to adapt approaches accordingly. Implementing strategies in different countries can be challenging because each place has its own culture, rules, and environment. Number one, cultural differences. Communication styles, decision-making process, and attitudes towards change can vary significantly across cultures. Countries differ in communication styles, decision-making, and attitudes towards change. These differences can cause misunderstandings if not respected. Number two, language barriers. Effective communication is essential for successful implementation, requiring clear and concise translation and interpretation. Different languages make communicating harder. Clear translation and simple messages are needed to avoid confusion. 3. Local regulations. Different countries have varying laws and regulations that must be considered when implementing strategies. Each country has its own laws. Companies must understand and follow these rules when implementing strategies. Political and economic instability. Political and economic instability in certain regions can create unpredictable challenges for implementation. Unstable politics or economies can disrupt plans, so organizations must be prepared for unexpected changes. So, in conclusion, strategy implementation is a complex and dynamic process that requires careful planning, effective communication, and a deep understanding of the organizational context. By addressing key implementation factors, overcoming barriers and resistance, and navigating cultural differences in an international context, organizations can increase their chances of successfully putting their strategies into action and achieving their desired outcomes. That's all. Thank you, everyone.